Greg, we'll start with you. Obviously, there'll be plenty of preview stuff that we'll do leading up to the Masters. But if you're looking at this board right now, does a Patrick Cantlay, who's now 25-1, are you a little bit more interested in that? Is there anybody else that we should be eyeing as we are now, 2.5 weeks away?
Absolutely. The guy to me is still Xander Schauffele. You got to be looking at him as a big timer here this week. I mean, tied 17th this week, which I thought was a better performance than I expected out of him, because if you look at the trends, when he's had really close, narrow defeats, the next week has been a little bit of a letdown, a little bit of an exhale, but then basically, with the exception of 2 events, his entire 2020 year has been extremely steady, which is remarkable. And he steps up, his game elevates in bigger tournaments. The bigger the tournament, the better he plays. And so I think he is kind of your lock contender. Now, I think you can't forget about Dustin Johnson either. The one thing about him is we haven't really seen a lot of reps out of him, which is not it has nothing to do with him. It's just he tested positive for COVID. So what can you do? But I think he's still a guy that you can't forget about, because his record at Augusta is very good too. Those would be the 2 guys I'm looking at right now as big time favorites.
I think we can agree that Augusta National, probably more than any other course, Mark, I think course history matters, right? We hear all the time, first timers don't win here. You got to learn the greens year after year. Well, I've got a guy who's 30-1, who's put on the green jacket twice, who's been phenomenal from tee to green over the last couple of weeks. His name is Bubba Watson. What do you think?
I think that's a good take. I really do, because the thing about Augusta National, aside from Tiger, it pretty well likes a defensive type putter. You know, a person that looks at a wide line and sort of drips balls around the hole, like a Crenshaw. You think of those sorts of guys. You don't see the people that are ramming the balls into the back of the cup. So from that point of view, it's playing right into Bubba's alley, because he can take that's the sort of game that he sees. So I think Bubba right now is a heck of a take. I'm on board with what Greg said about Xander. I think Jon Rahm is legit, but I'm not going to sleep on Rory. The dude made 9 birdies in the final round today. He made 29 in 4 rounds, okay?
Yes.
This is insanity. And you see, the way I look at the game, if an individual's not making birdies, like a Woods, then I have some margin for concern. But if someone's making birdies, it's just ironing out the odd bogey and such, and all of a sudden you're on a winning wicket. So I don't really know where I stand, but I'm not going to sleep on McIlroy. That's for certain.
I think that's certainly fair. That's the most birdies Rory has made in a single event on the PGA Tour. Kyle, we've covered Xander, we've covered Rory, we've covered Bubba. Now tell me how many shots that Bryson wins by.
Well, I was gonna say Rahm's gonna win by 5. I also said Rahm would win at Winged Foot, so don't listen to me ever.
I said going to win how many times in the century?
Well, the century. I mean, we're
a decade.
Yeah, that might be a difference. I mean, Bryson's gonna live to be 130, so who knows how many over the next century.
You think Bryson's club head speed will match his age at any point?
That was good.
That's top-notch content right there. Rahm's going to win. What about Cantlay? We haven't mentioned him yet. He's been really good. I mean, he had the lead late last year before Tiger. I think he was, 4 or 5 groups in front of Tiger at the end. He finished T9. Him and Rahm actually both finished T9 last year. Rahm's got 2 top 10s over his last 2 Masters. It's I don't know. The Bryson thing is going to be – it's almost more fascinating that he's not playing right now leading into the event. It's almost like, what is he like? Is he going to show up weighing 300 pounds? Is he going to have is he going to bring like a nuclear weapon to the first tee on Thursday? Like what's going to happen with all this stuff? Rahm, Bryson, Cantlay are three intriguing names, and I agree with the Bubba stuff as well.
Well, just a tiny spoiler. We've got some Masters content brewing over the course of the next couple of weeks, so maybe we'll deep dive on a Bryson at some point.